They say that in the halls of Buckingham Palace, the walls don't just have ears, they have memories. For decades, the British monarchy has survived by keeping its skeletons locked behind gilded doors. But in 2026, the locks are finally starting to break. We've seen the rifts, the tell-all books, and the high-profile exits, but nothing could have prepared the world for the bombshell that just dropped. Imagine a secret so explosive that it doesn't just threaten a reputation, but could actually rewrite the history of how Meghan Markle entered the royal fold. A revelation that doesn't come from an anonymous source or a tabloid journalist, but from someone who was once at the very heart of the inner circle. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has reportedly broken her silence. And what she had to say about Prince Andrew's past and Meghan's place in it has sent a lightning bolt through the foundations of the House of Windsor. The claim is simple, direct, and absolutely devastating that long before the world knew her as the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle was allegedly Prince Andrew's very first client during his most controversial years. This isn't just another internet rumor or a piece of recycled gossip. It's a narrative that ties together two of the most polarizing figures in modern royal history. For years, the public has wondered about the yacht days, those shadowy elite gatherings that have haunted Prince Andrew's reputation for over a decade. But until now, no one had dared to link Meghan Markle directly to the center of that web. Is this the missing piece of the puzzle that explains the immediate icy tension between the Sussexes and the rest of the family? Or is it a calculated move by a woman who has finally decided to play the game by her own rules? To understand why this is happening now, we have to go back to a moment that was almost completely erased from the history books. In 2013, a rumor began to circulate within the palace that Prince Harry and his uncle, Prince Andrew, had gotten into a heated physical altercation. Some reports claimed it was a shouting match that ended in a shove, while others whispered that a punch was actually thrown. At the time, the palace PR machine went into overdrive to bury the story. And for years, it worked. But in the wake of the 2026 revelations, people are starting to ask, what were they really fighting about? Was it just a clash of personalities? Or did Harry find out something about his uncle's social circle that he found unforgivable? Fast forward to today, and that 2013 tension looks like a prophetic warning. Back then, Meghan Markle was still a rising star on the show Suits, navigating the high-pressure world of Hollywood and the global elite. If she was indeed crossing paths with Andrew's circle as far back as 13 years ago, the official story of her blind date with Harry in 2016 starts to look more like a carefully constructed fairy tale than a reality. Sarah Ferguson's recent comments suggest that the connection between the York family and the future Duchess of Sussex runs far deeper than anyone was led to believe. And as Ferguson faces eviction from her longtime home at Royal Lodge, she seems more than willing to trade those secrets for a chance at survival. When Sarah Ferguson reportedly used the phrase, "first client," the world went quiet. It's a term that carries a heavy specific weight in the context of Prince Andrew's history. We aren't talking about a business transaction in the traditional sense. We're talking about the murky offshore world of luxury yacht parties that defined Andrew's life in the early 2000s. For years, the yacht girl narrative has been dismissed as a conspiracy theory fueled by grainy photos of a woman who looked vaguely like Meghan on a boat in the Mediterranean. But Ferguson's allegation isn't about a photo. It's about a role. She is reportedly claiming that Meghan was a key figure in the introductions that Andrew was facilitating during those years. This matches a growing dossier of evidence that suggests Meghan's social circle in London and Toronto was deeply intertwined with the very people who were managing Andrew's social calendar. Names like Marcus Anderson and the elite Soho House network keep popping up in the same breath as the yacht days. If Meghan were indeed a client or a guest of these high-stakes events, it would change the entire dynamic of her entry into the royal family. It would mean that when she met Harry, she didn't just know who the royals were. She might have known their deepest, darkest secrets. And if Prince Harry knew about this past, his 2013 rage toward Andrew starts to make a whole lot more sense. But that wasn't the whole story. The official story says Harry and Meghan met in London in July 2016. But investigative journalists have recently turned their attention to a 2017 wedding in Jamaica that seemingly proves the Yorks and the Sussexes were operating in the same tight-knit bubble long before the world was watching. At the time, it seemed like a standard social gathering of the young and wealthy. But looking back through the lens of 2026, the guest list looks like a road map of the scandal. Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew were there. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were there. And so were several figures whose names have recently appeared in the latest release of the Epstein files. The Jamaica connection is crucial because it highlights the one thing the palace hates most: a timeline that doesn't add up. If Meghan was already in with the York family, why the elaborate story about a blind date? Why the pretense of not knowing who Harry was? Sarah Ferguson is reportedly ready to reveal that the blind date was a PR stunt designed to sanitize Meghan's past and present her as a fresh, untainted outsider. But in reality, she may have been a known quantity within the York household for years. The betrayal here isn't just about a secret past. It's about the lies told to the public to protect a brand that was always built on a shaky foundation. You might be wondering why Sarah Ferguson would do this after all. She has spent decades being the loyal, if somewhat eccentric, ex-wife. She stood by Andrew through the worst of the Epstein accusations and the stripping of his titles. But 2026 has brought a new kind of pressure. King Charles, facing his own health battles and a desperate need to slim down the monarchy, has finally followed through on his threat to evict Andrew and Fergie from Royal Lodge. They are being pushed out of the inner circle, stripped of their security, and left to fend for themselves financially. For a woman with expensive tastes and a mountain of debt, Sarah Ferguson has suddenly become the most dangerous person in Britain. She has reportedly been shopping around a nuclear memoir that is rumored to have a $20 million price tag. And the centerpiece of that book isn't her own life. It's the truth about what she saw while living at the heart of the York family. Ferguson knows where the bodies are buried because she helped dig the holes by linking Meghan to Andrew's past. She isn't just attacking a rival. She's creating a bargaining chip. It's a clear message to the king and the Sussexes: pay for my silence or watch as the entire house of cards comes tumbling down. The Duchess of York has been a Houdini before escaping scandals that would have destroyed anyone else. But this time, she's not trying to escape. She's trying to win. The tension reached a breaking point in February 2026 when news broke that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor had been arrested and held by British police for nearly 11 hours. The accusations didn't just involve his past social life. They focused on misconduct in public office and the potential sharing of confidential trade information during his time as a UK trade envoy. But the real story wasn't the arrest. It was what the police took. Reports suggest that a hidden dossier of digital files and physical documents was seized from his private residence. Among those files were reportedly guest lists, schedules, and communications from the very yacht parties Sarah Ferguson is now talking about. This is the nightmare scenario for Meghan Markle. If her name appears in those seized files, the accusations surfaced in the press will become a legal reality. The palace is reportedly in a state of cold resolve, with Prince William leading the charge to distance the crown from both the Yorks and the Sussexes. To William, this isn't just gossip. It's a direct threat to the survival of the institution. If the public sees a link between the future of the monarchy and the dark networks of the past, the damage could be irreparable. Meghan's silence during this storm has been deafening, leading many to believe that she and Harry are currently weighing their legal options or perhaps preparing for an exit that takes them even further away from the spotlight. For years, defenders of the Duchess of Sussex pointed to the fact that the most famous yacht photo was actually a picture of a woman named Alexandra Ascat. They used this to debunk the entire yacht girl theory, calling it a misogynistic smear campaign. And for a long time, that defense held up. But the 2026 revelations aren't about that one photo. The new evidence being whispered about in London's elite circles involves a series of high-definition images and travelogues that were reportedly recovered from a private server in the Mediterranean. These logs don't just show a woman who looks like Meghan. They reportedly list her by name, using her passport details from the early 2000s. The narrative is shifting from conspiracy theory to potential documentation. In the world of high-stakes YouTube automation and tabloid news, this is the holy grail of content. It's the kind of information that keeps viewers clicking because it challenges the fundamental victim narrative that the Sussexes have built. If Meghan was a willing participant in the elite social circuit that Andrew presided over, then her claims of being a naive outsider who didn't know how to curtsy start to fall apart. It suggests a level of calculation and ambition that her critics have always suspected but could never prove until now. While Meghan is at the center of the yacht allegations, we cannot forget the impact on Prince Harry. Since 2020, Harry has positioned himself as his wife's protector, the man who saved her from the toxic environment of the UK. But what if the toxic environment was something she was already familiar with? The rumored 2013 fight with Andrew takes on a heartbreaking new dimension if you consider the possibility that Harry was trying to protect his family from the very scandals that are now surfacing. If Harry knew about Andrew's world and then discovered his wife had a connection to it, the psychological toll must have been staggering. In 2026, the rift between Harry and his brother William has reached a point of no return. William reportedly views Harry's refusal to acknowledge these links as a betrayal of the crown itself. The royal silence is being broken not by official statements, but by a series of strategic leaks that suggest the family is ready to let the Sussexes sink. As the world watches the fallout from Sarah Ferguson's nuclear move, the question remains: did Harry know? Did he know about the yacht days, the first client status, and the connections to Andrew's circle? If he did, his loyalty is a testament to his love for Meghan. If he didn't, then the 2026 explosion might be the one thing that finally brings him home alone. As we stand at this crossroads in 2026, the British monarchy is facing an existential crisis. Between King Charles's health, Andrew's legal battles, and the Sussexes' constant media warfare, the institution is stretched to its limit. Sarah Ferguson's decision to go rogue and expose Meghan's alleged past is the final piece of a puzzle that has been years in the making. Whether the first client claim is a literal truth or a metaphorical attack, the damage is done. The public perception of Meghan Markle has been permanently altered, shifting from global icon to woman with a secret. But Meghan has never been one to fade away quietly. Her team is reportedly preparing a counterstrike that could involve everything from a new documentary to a series of high-profile legal filings. She has survived media storms before, and she has a remarkable ability to reinvent herself when her back is against the wall. But as the Epstein files continue to leak and Sarah Ferguson's memoir looms over the holiday season, the world is left wondering how much more can the royal brand take. Is this the moment the fairy tale finally ends? Or is it just the beginning of a much darker, more complex story? To truly grasp how an American actress and a British prince could inhabit the same shadowy orbit years before their official meeting, you have to look at the gatekeepers of the global elite. We aren't talking about red carpets or award shows. We're talking about the private member-only clubs like Soho House, where the world's most influential people go to disappear. In the early 2000s, Meghan Markle was reportedly a fixture in this world, guided by her close friend and power broker Marcus Anderson. At the same time, Prince Andrew was utilizing these same networks to maintain his lifestyle after his official role as a trade envoy began to crumble. Insiders in 2026 are now pointing to a series of private events held in Istanbul and Toronto where these two worlds reportedly collided. It wasn't just a coincidence of geography. It was a coincidence of interests. If Sarah Ferguson is indeed claiming Meghan was a client, she is likely referring to the specific introductory services that these private clubs are rumored to facilitate for their high-profile members. For years, the public was told that Meghan was a self-made woman who fought her way to the top of the acting world. But the emerging narrative suggests she might have had a very different kind of help. The kind of help that comes with a non-disclosure agreement and a high price tag. But the paper trail didn't stop at club memberships. If these rumors had any weight, why would the late Queen Elizabeth ever allow the marriage to proceed in 2018? This is the question that has haunted royal historians for years. And in 2026, we might finally have the answer. Rumors are circulating about a black file presented to the Queen by Mears 5 just weeks before the wedding at St. George's Chapel. This file reportedly contained the very yachting allegations that Sarah Ferguson is now weaponizing. According to palace insiders, the Queen was faced with the impossible choice: cancel the wedding and face a global PR disaster, or allow it to proceed and hope the secret stayed buried. It is now believed that Harry was given a sanitized version of this briefing, one that focused on security risks rather than personal history. This would explain his fierce, almost irrational protectiveness over Meghan from the very beginning. He wasn't just fighting the press. He was fighting a ghost he didn't fully understand. But as Sarah Ferguson begins to leak the contents of her own private diaries, the black file is no longer a palace secret. It's becoming a public record. The betrayal here isn't just Meghan's past. It's the fact that the institution may have known the truth and chose to lie to the public and to Harry himself to protect the image of the modern monarchy. And what happened next would shock everyone. In the past, a blurry photo or a denied rumor was enough to end a scandal. But 2026 is the year of digital accountability. New AI forensic tools are being used by independent investigators to analyze those infamous yacht girl photos with terrifying precision. For years, the Sussex PR team claimed the photos were of other women, but the latest biometric scans suggest a 98% match for Meghan's facial structure and unique markings. This isn't just gossip anymore. It's data-driven evidence that is making it impossible for the mainstream media to look the other way. Social media is currently ablaze with side-by-side comparisons that have gone viral, garnering millions of views in hours. These videos don't just show a face. They map out the specific jewelry and clothing that Meghan was known to own in 2012, appearing in locations she claimed to have never visited. The digital ghost of her past is catching up to her 2026 reality. As the evidence mounts, the silence from Montecito is being interpreted not as dignity, but as a lack of a viable defense. If the photos are real, then the entire foundation of the Sussex brand, their authenticity and truth, is nothing more than a digital illusion. But while the adults fight for their reputations, the most vulnerable members of the family are caught in the crossfire. The true tragedy of this unfolding disaster isn't just the damage to the crown. It's the shadow it casts over the next generation. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie have spent years trying to distance themselves from their father Andrew's scandals, only to be dragged back in by their mother's nuclear move. At the same time, Archie and Leet are growing up in a world where their mother's name is synonymous with the very yacht world they were supposed to be protected from. In 2026, the question of legacy has never been more painful. Sources close to the York sisters claim they are devastated by Sarah Ferguson's decision to link Meghan to Andrew, fearing it will destroy whatever remains of their family standing. Meanwhile, the Sussexes are reportedly terrified of the day their children are old enough to use a search engine. How do you explain to your children that your entry into the royal family was preceded by a history that you spent their entire lives denying? This isn't just a political or social scandal. It's a generational trauma that is being played out on a global stage. The golden couple of 2018 is now the cautionary tale of 2026. And as the final documents are prepared for release, the world is realizing that some secrets are too heavy for any crown to carry. The saga of the royal family has always been the ultimate reality show, a blend of power, tradition, and human frailty. But in 2026, the drama has reached a level of intensity that no scriptwriter could have imagined. Sarah Ferguson's bombshell about Meghan Markle and Prince Andrew has pulled back the curtain on a world of yacht secrets and high-stakes survival. It has forced us to look beyond the elegant surface and the lavish living rooms to the hidden truths that lie beneath. In an era where transparency is demanded and accountability is unavoidable, the royal family can no longer rely on strategic silences to save them. The truth, no matter how shocking, always has a way of finding the light. As the world watches in stunned silence, one thing is clear. The grand theater of royalty is about to have its final act. Whether it ends in a dramatic comeback or a devastating downfall, we will be here to cover every twist and turn. What do you think about Sarah Ferguson's decision to speak out? Is she a truth seeker or a master manipulator? And what does this mean for the future of Meghan and Harry? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more investigative deep dives into the secrets of the world's most famous.